us.
Hey, it's your boy B-Tom. Hope you're having an awesome day. If it's your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, I'll have that money I owe you next time. I'm a little short, but you know I'm good for it. Please don't sick the judges on me. Today, we're in Hope County. Far Cry 5 has an amazing arsenal of weapons, and we're ranking all of them from worst to best. Just a few notes before we get started. This list only includes projectile weapons like guns, launchers, and bows. No melee, no throwables, that'll be a separate list. All DLC weapons are included, so get ready for some Lost on Mars OP alien guns. There are a few rare variants and alternate skins. I'm going to be grouping things together that have the same stats for the sake of clarity. It'll make sense and I'll explain along the way. There are a lot of weapons, but honestly, most of the guns are pretty good. In my opinion, there's only one bad weapon in Far Cry 5, and it has a tier right at the bottom all by itself. The Bulldozer. It's an energy shotgun from the Lost on Mars DLC. The only selling point is that it doesn't need ammo, it just recharges itself. Terrible spread, awful damage, by far the worst shotgun in the game. This is the only weapon I don't enjoy using. I'm sure it has fans out there and people are going to be rioting in the comments over a Lost on Mars gun being at the very bottom. But I don't care, you cannot change my mind. Maybe it's good in your hands, but I absolutely despise this gun. Hard pass, it almost makes me want to uninstall the DLC. But that's it for trash. Let's put this piece of garbage behind us and level up to the next tier. So close, but so far. These weapons are fun to use and add a lot to the sandbox, but they might not be the best choice overall. Flamethrower. This one hurts a little bit because it's such an iconic weapon in the Far Cry franchise. The range is terrible and the potential to set yourself on fire is off the charts. Like all of the other games in Far Cry 5, fire spreads, which means you can find yourself very quickly being completely roasted. It's very fun, but it's generally ass. I wouldn't take this at all if you're actually looking to accomplish a mission. It's just there for the lulz, and the skins are really fun too. MP40. Why does the MP40 kind of suck in this game? I mean, it's usable, but it's the MP40. The one weapon that's overpowered in every single game is just meh in Far Cry 5. It's literally the dogshit NPC gun in Hours of Darkness. It's functional, but pretty flat, and I have to grade it down even further because the MP40 is almost like contractually obligated to be good in every video game. Very annoying. Very disappointing. Send it back to the kitchen. This shit is undercooked. 308 carbine. A very serviceable weapon that just doesn't stack up well against the rest of the arsenal. Snipers really aren't that good in Far Cry 5. There's projectile time and bullet drop. It really feels like they deliberately designed snipers in this game to be mediocre. With ranges so extreme, it really would trivialize the game if you could snipe people from a mile away. They can be very satisfying to use and they do unlock a new playstyle, but the 308 carbine of all of them is probably the weakest. There are semi-auto options and of course the 50 cals, and this one just doesn't really fit a role. SVD. Brother, I hate the Dragunov in every game. It's just a curse. It's technically a semi-auto, but you better hit the first shot because your aim is going to go all over the place. It shares the same problems as the 308, but the only reason I put it higher is because you could spam someone down if they rush you. A99. A machine pistol inspired by the Tech 9, which has been in a bunch of games and gangster movies. It has a really high fire rate and just chews through ammo, but because you can put it in your pistol slot, it's actually a pretty strong secondary option. In my experience, it's also one of the weakest weapons to use in a drive-by. The high rate of fire and low accuracy makes it pretty ineffective. You want to get up close and personal with this thing, and that's kind of the best use for it. It's kind of a panic button. You run dry on your primary, switch to this thing, and then anything within 5 feet is probably going to get melted. ARCL. It's a marksman variant of the ARC assault rifle. It's basically just an American SVD. It's perfectly capable at mid-range, suffers the same issues as the other snipers, but unlike the SVD, it is functionally semi-auto. The kick is pretty comfortable, so the follow-up shots aren't too difficult to hit. And you can flip this thing into full auto if you're in a pinch. The recoil is bonkers and the damage is overkill, but the option is there. P08. This is one of the few times in the video I'm going to suggest a variant over the base version. The regular Luger is fine, but the standard version doesn't have an optical rail. The P08L gives up a little bit of handling, but you can put on a sight, making it way more functional. Dramatically enhances the effective range. That's the one you're seeing in the footage. But all that being said, it's really not that amazing. It's mostly here for style points. There are a lot of really dope pistols, and this one's just A-okay. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just kind of basic. M16. A Vietnam-era weapon weapon added with the Hours of Darkness DLC. It's really hard to make a case for this weapon. It looks cool and handles well, but it's really just a slightly shittier version of the ARC. In the DLC itself, it's a bedrock weapon, but in the main game where you have access to all of the guns, it's pretty mid. 3-round burst is probably the way to play, but you can go full auto as well. This may seem petty, but not being able to put skins on it actually knocks it down a few spots for me. I'd probably put it pretty higher if you could actually make it look cooler than stock. This is a very functional weapon though, you can't really go wrong. If you wanted to use this all game, you definitely could. You could play the entire campaign just using the M16 and do really great, actually. M79. A staple of the series, it's a pocket grenade launcher. You'd remember it as the Thumper if you used to play classic Call of Duty. You're gonna want some explosive firepower on every run, and this is just a basic boom tube. It fires a grenade in an arc. It's a lot harder to hit targets with a grenade than it is like an RPG-7. Nothing groundbreaking, but it's very handy in combat. I'd say it's the weakest explosive option overall, but it's also the fastest. You could switch this really quickly and get off a few shots in a super speedy fashion. So there's a world where this can complement an LMG loadout nicely. If you're not pressed about it and you're just looking for something to blow up the occasional truck on the highway, this will be a pretty good option. 1887. Much respect to a real OG. Shotguns are awesome in Far Cry 5. It does a ton of damage, but it also has access to slugs and incendiary rounds. It's an incredibly capable weapon, but you can do so much better with the other shotguns. There's a tactical variant of the 1887, but it doesn't really elevate the performance in a way that matters. I like it because it's an iconic weapon, but it is kinda difficult to justify using this over, say, the SPOS 12. SMG-11. A cheap, machine-stamped hunk of garbage that sprays lead in every direction. I kinda love it. The Mac-11 in real life is so unrefined, it's practically art. It has a blinding rate of fire and can be equipped into your pistol slot. It really should be reserved for emergencies only. You're gonna burn through magazines and rip through your ammo reserves. The best way to use this is to pick a specific target, get in kissing range, and mag dump them. Grape Popper. An energy sniper rifle from Lost on Mars. Like all of those weapons, it recharges rather than spending ammo, which is really convenient. I'm pretty torn on this one. It has epic damage overall and good handling, but you're also stuck with the alien scope on it. It's not terrible, it's pretty clean and usable, but the versatility is kind of lacking. I'm putting it here in the middle of the pack because despite the annoying issues, it is fun as shit to hit people with an energy bolt like Thor. MP5. The keeper of standards in the SMG category. You unlock it super early and it stays relevant for the entire game. Range can be a heavy consideration in Far Cry games, but keeping this in your loadout ensures you have a reasonable option in CQB at all times. There are a few variants as well. You have the base model plus the MP5SD, which comes with an integrated suppressor. Those two are identical stat-wise, but you also have what I consider the best variant, the MP5K. Slightly better handling, it's just snappier and more responsive. I also just like the MP5K a lot as a weapon in every game and looks really cool. It just feels awesome. It's on some Matrix shit. D50. The Desert Eagle in this game is a legit 50 cal. Tons of recoil, but it does massive damage. It literally shares an ammo pool with the 50 cal snipers, which is something to be aware of. If you're running both at the same time, you're gonna very quickly use up your ammo reserves, even with the bigger bag perk. You know, hand cannons are really awesome. It's just kinda not my style, and the pistol slot is super competitive. The Deagle just doesn't do it for me, but I could totally see people being diehard Deagle supporters and using it for the entire run. Hellfire. The good version of the bulldozer. It's an energy shotgun that fires a single projectile like a slug. Devastating close range damage. The drop off is kind of crazy and the accuracy is ass, but this one is actually super fun to use. Dorking people into oblivion with this gun never gets old. You just delete people. M133. Another shotgun. This is the standard basic pump action shotgun. You unlock it early and you can probably buy this shit at Walmart like the real life version. Hits like a truck. It has surprisingly effective range. It's a workhorse shotgun that isn't bad in any situation. I do think it gets outclassed by some of the other options, and it's also kind of awkward in combat with human enemies, but it shines in the wilderness. A well-placed shot could drop a predator in its tracks. There are lots of visual skins and one variant with different stats. The M133 MS has slightly better handling in exchange for a hit to your range. Personally, I don't think that's a great trade-off, and I would suggest just using the stock version. P226. The best way to describe this one is that it's a side grade to the 1911. A few more rounds but less punch per shot. The trade-off makes sense in game. When you're playing, you kind of feel that that's a real decision, but it is definitely the best option for carjacking though. I completely forgot you could do this. Like you could just like get in a car with an NPC and they'll drive around. It's so weird. I love this game. Why is Far Cry so good? BP2. It's Ubisoft, so they always have to put the French National Rifle in the game, even though having the FAMAS in Hope County doesn't make a ton of sense. Low damage per shot, but a ripping rate of fire. It's pretty good against single targets, but tracking a group of enemies can be pretty challenging. You end up wasting a ton of shots, missing a bunch, but it's great at melting down elites at point blank. It could just struggle at range. But this list is heating up. Next category, far from bad. These are solid options that would complement any loadout. SBS. The Elmer Fudd Special. Look, there's no reason to use a double barrel. It conveys essentially zero gameplay advantage. Getting slightly better range for the restriction of only having 2 shots is really not a good idea. It puts you at a major disadvantage. But to play devil's advocate, I also present incendiary shells. Goddamn, it feels really good to clear out an outpost with this weapon. Pure chaos. Magnopulsar. What in the Half-Life 2 Gordon Freeman bullshit is this? It's the silliest of the Lost on Mars energy weapons. It's basically the microwave emitter from Fallout 3. It's fun as hell, but totally impractical. If you get close enough to human enemies, it will just explode them into a mist. I give this weapon a B+ for Buffalo Volleyball. 6P9. Oh my god, it's been all these years and I've never said that out loud and I just now got the joke. 69? Really? Really, Ubisoft? Really? A Far Cry classic. A version of this weapon has been in all of the Ubisoft Far Cry games. It's based on the Makarov PM. In Far Cry 5, it was added with the Dead Living Zombies DLC. Crispy, responsive, nimble. I really enjoy this weapon. It has a bit of a smaller magazine, but the accuracy is off the charts. It does make you feel like a secret agent. It's really awesome. MP34. Legendary weapon. Has a deep history in real life and in the Far Cry franchise. It's just okay in this game. It's not good at anything, but it's also not bad at anything. I'd consider this a very minor upgrade to the base MP5. If you weren't interested in running a submachine gun in the first place, this one's not really worth equipping, but it's a decent option if that's your playstyle. 1911. Excellent sidearm you get right from the start of the game. It's one of the most abundant guns in Far Cry 5. They are literally everywhere. It's used by enemies, there's tons of skin variants. I love that such an iconic real-life weapon got the spotlight in this game, but it's just okay-ish. It doesn't have the punch you would hope or expect, and couple that with a smaller magazine, it just doesn't really excel. Definitely not a bad stealth option though. Throw in a silencer and a red dot and it's a headshot machine. BZ-19. It's the in-game version of the PP Bison. For a submachine gun, it kinda rips. With extended mags, you get 84 rounds. That's an LMG caliber amount of ammunition. In close quarters, this thing is a beast. It's also great at clearing out camps with big teams of bad guys. Really nice option and tons of fun to use. D2. It's an emergency oh shit button. The damage and range aren't terrible at all despite this being a secondary weapon. I would probably put this higher on the list, but running a shotgun in one of your primary slots is basically the meta. If you don't have the zombie DLC, which adds the SPAS 12, give this one a shot. The thought of being able to go into your secondary slot just kind of puts it leagues above the SBS. The long barrel is really fun, but the D2 is just more usable. MG42. The LMGs in this game are wild. The MG42 just misses the mark by a hair though. It has a ridiculous rate of fire coupled with a kinda long reload. So you dump out a spectacular burst of damage and then you have to find cover. The accuracy is pretty good though, so you'll be hitting the target more often than not. It just kind of feels like overkill. It can be kind of cumbersome and awkward to use when there are multiple enemies. If you absolutely positively need to kill one guy, the MG42 is a great option. But if you don't know what the enemies are about to throw at you, I would probably rely on a more consistent LMG. Shovel launcher. A rocket launcher that fires shovels. Stuff like this is why I play Far Cry. It's dumb, audacious, and actually kind of challenging to master. There's way more lead time and drop than you would expect, but the ragdolls, cherry on top. I have wasted more hours launching fucking garden tools than I spent on my college education. That isn't a brag, it's a cry for help. Nerve Reaper. The Lost on Mars weapons are starting to heat up, gang. For that DLC, they basically just did energy versions of every major weapon class. This is the assault rifle. It hits hard, has great accuracy, and of course, there's no need for ammo. I like it a lot, but I don't really use it that often. It puts the game on easy mode, but also in kind of a boring way. You could definitely main this weapon for the entirety of the campaign and have a ton of fun with it. It's just not a particularly interesting choice for me. I use it for a little while and then just gotta go back to the store and swap out to something a little bit more grounded. That's just my personal taste, so I will throw an asterisk on this one and say that it's probably overpowered, and feel free to absolutely abuse this thing if you want to. It's just not really for me. MS-16. Crispy and authoritative. This weapon feels great to use. There's nothing better than popping some melons with a clean headshot with the MS-16. A lot of weapons in Far Cry 5 have been in the franchise before, but I do think this may be my favorite version of the MS-16. There's a variant called the MS-16 Trooper, which has slightly better handling in exchange for worse accuracy. Not a huge deal, but I would definitely suggest stock. This weapon is all about well-placed shots, and anything that makes that less reliable is kind of fucking annoying. The sound effects on this weapon are just top tier. Listen to this. Oh, the echo was crazy. It's so good. Shout out to the sound design team. M9. Nasty pistol. Excellent damage, perfect handling, snappy reloads. This is the king of traditional quick switch backup weapons. It definitely edges out the 1911 for me, almost only because you get 12 rounds with the extended mag. An extra 2 bullets doesn't sound like it would matter that much until they absolutely matter, and those 2 rounds are the difference between living or respawning. Scorpion. My all-time favorite version of the Scorpion might be from Far Cry 3, but it's still really awesome in this game. Of all the SMG pistols, the Scorpion is the most well-rounded. Accurate, nice fire rate. It's actually probably good enough to be a primary option. If you run out of ammo, you can lean onto this weapon to keep you safe until you can top off. It's also a pretty excellent option for drive-bys. I don't know why, but I just love to see a good Scorpion. It's like one of my favorite weapons. I am attracted to shitty weapons. RPG-7. Ah, my old friend. One of my favorite weapons in every Far Cry. A precise and lethal instrument of the destructive arts. Of all the many ways to enjoy your rocket-propelled high explosive in Far Cry 5, the most epic way to use it is by destroying the effigy of Joseph Seed. The head popped off in almost like a cartoonish fashion. I was like, yo, why is this shit so cinematic? Vector 45 ACP. The fire rate on this gun is absolutely insane. It should be illegal. When you think about the use case for SMGs in any game, it's really kind of backup weapons that are excellent in close quarters combat. The Vector is the definition of that. It just shreds any enemy that gets close to you. And within its kind of effective range, it also has very moderate recoil. The accuracy is the thing that holds this back from being top tier. Outside of 10 to 15 feet, you're really going to struggle hitting people and you're going to waste a ton of ammo. But this playstyle definitely speaks to me. I like high risk, high reward, mag dumpy kind of guns, and the Vector is just excellent. Also has a lot of great skins as well. I know that doesn't factor in a lot. I keep saying it. I swear it didn't really impact anything, but come on, I got a style on fools. I got to bring that fresh look to Hope County. MBP 50. Sniping isn't that great in this game, but if you gotta do it, using one of the 50 cals is definitely the strat. The sound effects on this are absolutely epic. The recoil feels really chunky and satisfying. But just be aware that if you are not using the Blood Dragon skin, I have placed a curse on you, and all of your save files will be corrupted. ARC. A not-so-subtle spin on the ACR, which was popularized by the Call of Duty franchise before appearing in every modern shooter ever. I think most people will rank this as a top-tier weapon. It has a high rate of fire and really steady recoil. It's a close to mid-range monster, but there is definitely just enough pronounced recoil that it kind of limits the gun at longer ranges, but it definitely shreds and it feels really good to use. It's a staple weapon, and when I think about Far Cry 5, this is one of the guns that pops into my mind. It just misses our top tier. But before we jump into the elite weapons, let's just take a little bit of a break. We talked about a lot of weapons. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you so much for being here. Honestly, I didn't intend to make this video. It was kind of a mistake. I was making a totally different video and I was kind of playing Far Cry 5 on the side, and literally every time I booted up the game, something epic was happening. So then I started recording and I kind of got lost and I was recording at 4K. So before I knew it, my entire hard drive was full of footage of this game, which totally makes sense because I love it and it's fucking epic. But it definitely wasn't a video I set out to make. I wasn't like, yo, I need to do a weapon ranking video set in an open world with a dog sidekick. I've never made that video before. This is absolutely a passion project. It's so good. So if you just happen to be watching this video because you like weapon ranking lists or you're curious about it, I highly encourage you to play Far Cry. And if you like the other games I cover on this channel like Fallout or Red Dead Redemption, this will be right up your alley. But if you have played it, let me know what your favorite weapons are. I read every comment on the channel and I try to reply to as many as possible. That's not engagement bait. I really enjoy having conversations. But thanks again for being here. No more delays. Let's crack in to our top tier, far and away the best, bows. There are a couple different options, but I'm going to be grouping them all together right here at the top. Bows are obviously the premier option for stealth operations. They have access to 3 different arrow types: normal, incendiary, and explosive. All fit a different role that are valuable and additive to your run. I always keep a bow on me at all times because they're just so handy. The versatility is awesome, and it keeps you from having to build weapons into less interesting roles. Like, you don't want a silencer on your pistol? No problem, just bring the bow along. All 3 options are equally strong in my eyes. It just kind of boils down to preference. You have the compound bow, the recurve bow, and the slingshot. Pick your poison, don't let them see you coming, and let the arrows fly. Rat 4. The best of the boom. If you're new to Far Cry 5, make sure to put a scope on this weapon. Without it, it's just a regular rocket launcher. The scope adds the ability to lock onto vehicles, which is awesome. The best part though is the cluster rockets. They just take destruction to new extremes. It's an essential pick for any late game loadout, but you can easily get this by killing Herc, by the way, after his Guns for Hire mission. If you didn't know that, you can get this very early in the game. Dropping bombs, bro. Outposts do not stand a chance. SA-50, the peak of sniping. It's another 50 cal, but this one is semi-auto. Snappy aim, fast follow-up shots. The SA-50 is head and shoulders above the rest. It's also a really solid anti-material option. If the task requires range, this is the best overall pick. Like, for example, I was not trying to get close to this bull in this situation. It was an absolute shame to just kill his mojo like that. But if you gotta go out, that's the way I want to go too. 4570. An absolute marksman monster. Excellent accuracy and handling. This gun is basically why snipers suck in Far Cry 5. Like, you don't need them. It does more damage than anything besides a 50 cal, and it's nearly pinpoint accurate. It does enough damage to either incapacitate or just outright eliminate most targets with a single torso shot. There is a shorter tactical variant that has better handling and a slightly increased rate of fire. I like stock. That's kind of the way I want to roll. But if you don't like this one, we have another really highly accurate option coming up next. That is the 44 Magnum. This isn't just a strong pistol, it's one of the best snipers in the game. It's another reason why the actual sniper rifles are basically irrelevant. The 44 and the 4570 kind of share the same role, so they're relatively interchangeable for me, but I'm definitely going to be taking either one of these. M60. Okay, we own some Rambo one-man army shit. You can clear out an entire outpost with 1 magazine. Slap on armor-piercing rounds and you'll shred convoys. This weapon is actually insane. I don't even think the reload is that punishing by LMG standards. It's just a ridiculous amount of DPS. Honestly, the only thing that even competes with it is our next weapon, another LMG. The M249. I put these right next to each other because really it just boils down to preference. The M60 has higher damage but a lower fire rate. The SAW dumps out more shots but it hits kind of lighter. Personally, I get better performance out of the M249, but you can't really go wrong with either one of them. Which weapon you include is up to you, but I strongly suggest keeping one of these 2 weapons on you during the entire run. This is the center of your loadout. Everything else is a tool for a specific situation. The LMGs are general purpose chaos that you just absolutely have to include. Nut Hugger. This shit is just stupid. It's a pocket Rat 4. Lost on Mars was on some crazy shit. It's a pistol that fires lock-on explosives. You can even shoot multiple at once. This DLC really said, hold my beer, this game is about to get dumb. This is also like another combo entry because the next weapon is very similar as well. The Obliterator. Yet another pocket rocket launcher. Both of these are equipped in your pistol slot, which is just outrageous. And you know what's funny? These aren't even the most OP weapons from Lost on Mars. It's insane. Pro tip about the Obliterator though, while it can be used for drive-bys, and that's very fun, it's also highly discouraged. It's a very dangerous activity. I clipped the side mirror and just fucking nuked myself. SPAS 12. Who doesn't love the SPAS 12? Like, even if you don't play video games, it's like the coolest weapon in every movie too. It's a semi-auto masterpiece that has access to all of the various ammo types. Hands down, the best shotgun in Far Cry 5. There really is no conversation or comparable. This one was released with the zombie DLC, and it totally dominates everything. You can just dole out so much DPS, it's unmatched. AK. The Far Cry franchise has always had great AKs. On paper, this weapon kind of seems mid. The stats are kind of right down the middle, but in reality, it's just the perfect blend of handling, performance, and power. There are a few AK variants that are statistically very close to one another. You have the classic AK-47, and then you have a few AKMs. There isn't a single problem this weapon can't solve. It's like the master key of Far Cry 5. It doesn't do anything crazy. It doesn't have any like crazy effects or anything, but it is a weapon that will literally never let you down. But it's only our number 2 weapon today because number 1 is just on a class of its own. Taser, Spazer, Annihilazor. This is a literal laser gun. It's a pistol with nearly infinite range. You can use it while driving. You could use it while parachuting. It's the definition of an OP DLC weapon. It's so clearly the best weapon in the game. I almost didn't even rank it. Oh my fucking god, this thing is stupid. They had to know what they were doing. They had to know what they were doing. They literally added the most ridiculously destructive thing into the game in a DLC so that people would pick up Lost on Mars. That's exactly what they did. It's easily the best weapon in the game, and I think that's by design. I restrict myself. I tend not to use it very often because it's just trivializes everything. There's literally nothing that can stand up to you when you're using this thing. But I also kind of like that it's in the game. Far Cry is the kind of franchise where like an OP laser weapon actually kind of fucking makes sense. And it's also like some of the most fun you could have in video games. I love it. That was our number 1, and that means we are done ranking for the day. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I did making it. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next video.